All right, today I'm gonna head down to Rizal Park here in Manila, Philippines, and also Intramuros. These are two really famous places. I think Rizal Park is actually the largest urban park in the Philippines. I've never been to any of these places, so join me and we'll explore them together for the very first time. So this is the famous Rizal Park. It's got like over 100 acres of land. So by urban parks, it's really, really large. Just got here, just kind of a flash around. Here's the entrance. All the trees. Right up there, the main road, which I think is Rojas. Unexpectedly, there's actually a pretty good breeze here today. So it's about 80, a little over 80 degrees. So I mean, it's the Philippines, it's hot, but it's not really as hot as I would have in Davao in the southern Philippines, where we're at like 6 degrees latitude, and up here in Manila, we're at like 14 something degrees latitude. So quite a bit of difference in the heat. I'd say about 10 degrees Fahrenheit difference, but there looks like what is going to be the major monument. So this may be a little loud because I'm going to be heading up towards the traffic of the park, but as you get to the center and the beginning of the park from the street, it is just amazing the view that you've got coming back. And I want y'all to see both across the street and then back towards the park itself. And so if you look, there's across the street where other stuff is going that way. And then back here, going back way across to where there's another street way over there. But it reminds me very much of, like in Washington, D.C., our mall that is very long like this and is open with people on each sides, people having picnics out behind the tree lines, and then a soldier guarding the monument for Rizal. So the person who's this park is named after, Jose Rizal, was one of the biggest heroes in the Philippines. There's some controversy behind him, but he was actually executed near here by the Spanish as he was involved in eventually the revolution that was going to overthrow the Spanish. That kind of gave it a lot of steam going forward. One secret about Manila is, I swear, they've got the loudest ambulances of any place on the planet that I've ever been. I mean, you can hear them coming from blocks away. They're so loud. As I said, I'd never actually been to this park before, but when I first got to the Philippines on this trip and I was here, I saw broadcast on the national television here. It was on Heroes Day, and it was when the former President Duterte was on his way out and the new president was going to be coming in. But the former president came to this monument right here, and they had soldiers lined up, and he laid his hand, and as he laid a wreath on it, and it was he bowed his head. It was very just a sobering experience, regardless of how you feel about the politics or the different leaders here. It was a very, really incredible experience to watch that on television. I wasn't here live, would have been nice to have been, but to see him and how solemn a ceremony that was, it was really quite amazing. So what was so cool, and now being here live, was right here was where they had these streets blocked off, but the president's motorcade came up here, and you know, he got out, the soldiers were all here, they came across. Of course, these chain links weren't here, and he did the wreath laying ceremony. And being here in person and actually seeing where that happened for the first time is just, it's super exciting and it's so cool. All right, let's go see the rest of the park.
Then you stood there smiling at me.
On a Friday, and I would not consider the people in the park to be really busy, which is shocking. Of course, it's a work day, so and I guess a lot of people have been here before. Seems like a lot of the people in the park have been tourists, though. I've seen a lot of foreigners here taking photographs and stuff like that. So this is right near Rizal's execution spot back in the late 1800s. And you know, you read about this stuff in the history books and about the history of my country, the United States, as well as the Philippines, and it doesn't prepare you for actually being in a place like this so near to where those events actually happened. It's really kind of awe-inspiring. So this part of the park is called the Chinese Garden, so let's go in and see what it's got to see. So this garden's pretty extensive. It's goes quite a ways around the perimeter down to another road that kind of ends this side of the park, the far side of the park. But I suspect these are fountains that are sometimes on but currently are off. I should mention that this park, Rizal Park, is free. There's no admittance here. It's for everybody in the country, which is nice. And I go to capital cities all over the world, and I have to say that I'm very impressed with this park. The one place, the capital city I've ever been to on this trip or any other that I didn't go to was Bangkok, simply because I just did not have time, so I'll have to eventually go back there and do that. But this park is very impressive for capital parks that I've seen, especially just considering the size that this park takes up. And it's not going to do you justice, this video, to show you how big this park is from this little bitty video I do today, because I'll be walking around this for quite some time. Down this road to get to Intramuros, loud because I'm right by the road, but you can see how well landscaped it is in the middle, and over there I think is where we're going. We'll see. Shouldn't be too far of a walk from Rizal Park. Now what's neat about between here and the park and Intramuros is you got these little parks. You've got golf courses, you've got like ancient city walls, and then you've got modern buildings, all like right beside each other. It's crazy. It's like history with modern, with nature. So I swear this place reminds me of St. Augustine, Florida. Can't remember the name of the castle there, but I spent a lot of time there as a youth, but it's the same type of architecture, different type of material that's being used, because obviously they're using the local materials here rather than what they were using there, but amazing Spanish facade. I didn't study up on the history of this place before I came, but my guess is, age-wise, that this would have been before Vauban came up with how to defeat fortresses and then created fortresses on how to sustain a Vauban siege. Because in this case, you have the gun turrets and stuff, but because the walls are straight on, they could be pounded using the Vauban mortar system and cannon system and take it out. All right, so that's Intramuros. Let's head back over to the park and finish up this second day in Manila. Actually, I remembered. It's the Castillo de San Marcos in St. Augustine, and this is very recent design. But you can see This actually reminds me of what the fortress in St. Augustine is built out of. It's these like ocean rocks, ancient seashells that are mixed together and hardened. And that's really what the Castillo de San Marcos looks like in St. Augustine. Kind of a little bit more dark than that, but that's my recollection of that. All right, gang, that is Rizal Park. It is definitely worth coming out to see while you're here in Manila. I would suggest taking your time, relaxing, sitting on the benches, enjoy it. Don't rush through it. I had to slow my wife down because I actually wanted to enjoy this park and to see it, where she's supposed to go through and photograph and get the selfies. Don't do that. Enjoy your time. Drink it up. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit subscribe so that you can find me again. And if you found it valuable, hit the like button. Lets other people know that it's decent content that somebody else would like to see. See you in the next one.